$100 to me. You send $100 to me, I'll put some money on Lamar. You understand what I'm saying? All right, now let's go ahead and get off into these topics, man. I was going to ask you about Lennox Lewis and Ali, but we've been spending a lot of time on these other topics. I'm going to bring my boy in, Sugar Shane, and there's no fights to recap, okay? We got predictions, the Inoue versus Ye Jun Kim. We're going to be real quick with these, man. And, fellas, let's go ahead and keep the energy going, man. I think we're going to get our boy up in here, too. My main man, Ty, the Dream Haney, okay? So we can go ahead and bring our guys in. What's going on? Positive Energy, Sugar Shane. He's on board. How you feeling? You all right?
Yeah, man. Trying to get a little twerk while I work. You know what I'm saying?
No, don't do that, man. Please don't do that. Don't be over here twerk. Don't twerk before work. Don't twerk after work.
I'm kidding, man. I'm high quality male. Want high quality females.
Man, these people up here upset with Snoop Dogg. They upset with my main man Rick Ross. They upset with Nelly. They upset with Soulja Boy because they're gonna perform at the inauguration. Man, come on, dog. Performance. Well, I never have a problem with somebody earning some money. That's not the problem. The problem that I had more so than that was at those Kamala Harris rallies when they had all of these low-brow artists up there that's just making us look bad. Like, that's far worse to me than what they were doing or what they're going to be doing tomorrow. But anyway. What about you, Ty, man? How you doing? What's going on, good brother?
Luke, man, doing good.
Yes, sir. We keeping it moving and grooving today, man. We got this good energy. We're gonna go ahead and talk about these topics. But first thing we're gonna talk about is on Friday, January 24th. You got Inoue against Ye Jun Kim. Bill, have you had an opportunity to take a look at Ye Jun Kim's fighting style or anything like that to know what to expect on Friday?
No, I don't have to, man. They got this guy off the streets of South Korea. He probably hasn't fought out of Korea and Japan. He fought a little bit in Japan. So Inoue is probably gonna take this guy out, pick him apart, take him out in about 4 rounds. Easy work for Inoue. You know, Inoue should be fighting somebody better, but he's not. So 4th round knockout.
All right. What about you? Shane?
Well, I think the guys, he got like a little warrior in him, but it's levels to this game, and he gonna get pieced up for sure. But the guy got a little warrior in him.
The guy is wide open right there, sir. This is gonna be the thing to me. I'm gonna get to you, Ty, in a second, because we cutting to the chase today. We talking that real boxing talk. We not sitting up here faking a funk. This dude is. I just hope he don't get hurt. That's all, because he's gonna get.
You know what I'm saying? He got a little warrior in him. I mean,
yeah, that's the bad part. He got warrior in him.
Yeah, I ain't say he had skills. I said he got warrior in him.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's gonna last about 2 or 3 rounds.
No, I don't think that might. It all depends on what Inoue is trying to do. If he want to get him out of there quick, he can go ahead and get him out of there quick. It's just, to me, when Inoue got dropped, and not in his last fight, but the fight before last, when he fought against that old man that he was fighting. Let me put Inoue's stats up here, as far as who he's been facing. So he's 28-0, 25 KOs. He's going to be 29-0 with 26 KOs after this one against Doheny. So when he fought before the Doheny fight against Neary, when he got dropped against Doheny, he seemed to be a little bit more reluctant and not start out the gate, throwing those bombs. And I'm sure when you have the little fella who got knocked down in Norfolk when we was there, what's the kid's name, Vale? The one that got dropped a couple times in the first round?
Inoue?
No, kid in Norfolk who got dropped a few times.
Abdullah Mason.
So I'm sure Abdullah Mason in his next fight is going to be a little bit more reserved early on. So I expect that may be a pattern for Inoue moving forward. But he doesn't necessarily have to use that against this guy, because looking at these highlights of him, he's so wide open. It's just going to be such a huge gap in talent. And so, like I said, and Inoue hits way too hard for those dudes. And somebody like that who hasn't experienced anybody near the talent of Inoue, he's going to be in a world of trouble. And like I said, I just hope the kid doesn't get hurt, because this is a mismatch of gigantic proportions. What about you, Ty? What do you think?
Same thing, man. I'm gonna go with Inoue by stoppage. I'm not too familiar with June Kim, but he doesn't have like the power Inoue has. So I think once he feel those shots, it's gonna be an early night. But I think Inoue does want to go on there, get some rounds in, but I think he eventually, go in for the kill and get the stoppage.
I hope he does. I hope he don't go in here playing around with this dude, because sometimes when you do that sort of thing, what you do is you're not really helping the cause. Because if I go and I'm just messing around with a dude who has no reason to be in the ring with me, then I'm diluting myself. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think he need to go ahead and get this dude up out of here. Allow the people in Japan to have a spectacular KO, something awesome for them to see, display the power, display the levels, do what Bam did. When Bam fought in this last fight, Bam wasn't going in there playing around. Bam is like, this who I am. Like, I should be in the top pound for pound. And I'm showing the different levels, the different skills that I have in comparison to this guy who's supposed to be a ranked opponent. But you can be ranked, but you're not a natural like me. You're not elite like me. And I'm gonna show you the separation. And it's not his fault. His fault was trying to fight Sam Goodman in the first place. But this right here really isn't his fault, because of the fact that, you had your opponent who wasn't available. So you had to put somebody in short notice. All right, anything else on this fight, man? How many rounds do it go? What you think? You said 4, Val?
4 rounds.
4 rounds. You said the same thing, Shane?
I had 2 or 3. I'm gonna go with 3.
What about you, Ty? How many rounds does this fella go?
I'll say 6. I see Inoue wanting to get some rounds in. I'll say 6.
I'm gonna give him 2. And he might go up out of there. Like, as soon as they touch gloves, he might be wobbling. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how bad this dude is. It's crazy. All right, so now also next week, we got a little bit better fight. You got Diego Pacheco. He's gonna be in action. Diego's a big 168-pound fighter, 22-0 with 18 KOs, 6'4", tall kid, 79-inch reach. His last fight was against Selecki, and he had a 6-round impressive TKO victory. You see the last few fights that you see there, those who's watching live here. He's going against Stone Cold Steve Nelson. That's one of Bud Crawford's buddies. He's 20-0 with 16 KOs, 36 years of age, getting up there. So he's going to have a huge he's going to be disadvantaged when it comes to the height and reach. Fights out of Omaha, Nebraska. He fought Marcos Vasquez Rodriguez in his last outing, scoring a KO in the 5th round. What do you think, Val? What's going to happen here in this fight between Stone Cold Austin against Diego Pacheco?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good fight. 2 undefeated guys. Like you said, Pacheco got the height advantage. And what I like that Pacheco does, he actually uses his reach. He has a good jab. He works that jab. And he kind of moves into his right hand, when he comes for you. The only thing is, once he starts, banging with guys, he kind of gets close. And I think Nelson's pretty good, at mid-range, and he's all right at a distance, but he's gonna have problems getting on the inside of Pacheco. And I think getting on it once he's able to get in there and get on the inside and in his mid-range, I think it's gonna be a interesting fight. It's gonna be a drag-out fight. But I see Pacheco digging down, controlling that distance more. But this is a fight that, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way and if it ends in a knockout. But for all intents and purposes, I'll take Pacheco by decision.
Okay, Shane, talk to us.
I think Pacheco wins. I think he wins by knockout. I think that I think that distance and everything, if he just stays to the outside and everything, I see him piecing him up, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good fighter, but I think if he can just use a jab effectively, he should be able to piece him up. Just jab and circle.
Is it a knockout? Or is it a decision? How's this going to play out?
I'm thinking it's a knockout, but like a late knockout around maybe the 11.
Okay. What about you, Ty? What you think? Who's going to be victorious in this?
Yeah, I got Patriot.
Bub, you got Steve Nelson?
No. I think it'll be a good fight while it lasts, but it's a 13-year age difference. So Patriot, he's got the youth on his side. Both guys got some power, but I think the youth is gonna be the winner in this fight. So I got Patriot. I'll say maybe around like a seventh round, 8th round stop or something like that.
So you don't think that Bud can bestow some of his wisdom and some of his technique on this fella and allow him to be victorious? You don't think the little chubby dude, what's my man name? The chubby his trainer?
Bo back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good fight while it lasts, but I just think that Patriot, he just got the youth. But I think Nelson gonna have some tricks up his sleeve, but I think eventually Patriot, it'll just be too much for him.
I think so too. My prediction is probably about 6th, 7th round TKO victory. I think Nelson's gonna have some success early. It's just it's again the levels. Pacheco is an upcoming guy. I don't think they will put him in there with Nelson if they didn't see a clear advantage, a clear decisive advantage. And the thing is, Nelson sometimes looks good against the level of opponents that he's facing. I don't see him being able to compete for all 12 rounds against a young gunner like Pacheco based on the highlights that I've seen. And I think that Pacheco will be able to take some of his stuff more than he's going to be able to take Pacheco's hard shots, his consistency, his ability, the youth that he has. He's going to be gung-ho for all 12, where I think that Nelson's going to be more in spurts. And you see how slow, you see some of these shots are kind of slow that's coming from Nelson. But then again, he's fighting that same guy that got smoked by Jaime Munguia. And, that was when Jaime Munguia was on this Bum of the Month tour. You know what I'm saying? So levels. 6th round TKO victory for my main man Pacheco. He's one of those guys, man, at the 168-pound weight class to, be reckoned with. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. If you are here with us and you're taking a look at the show, please hit that like and subscribe. Pass the word along to others because we do this every Sunday, regardless of what's going on in the world of boxing. It's always boxing news. We just like to have these conversations. Like I said, I'm not a content creator. I'm not a person who's trying to figure out a way to hit the algorithm or anything like that. But I am a person who loves to talk about the sweet science, and that's what we do each and every Sunday. And shout out to Shane, shout out to Ty for having these conversations with us today. All right, so the boxing news. We got a lot of things, hodgepodge of topics. I don't even know. Some of this stuff may be all over the place because I was sitting over there texting this lady. She was a dang on person who was on a Democratic plantation. It gets on my nerves, man. It's like they think that they saying something, they're not saying anything. And it's like, man, you're upset about these things, but what about this?
Hey, we on the boxing platform. Let's go
boxing platform, but I'm trying to tell you, sir, why these topics may be all over the place. Yeah, whatever consequence I have to experience based on what Wilton Henry says, I'm willing to take whatever responsibility, because this is what happens. Before I get to these topics, this is what happens. You will have some people who consider themselves liberal, and they'll try to say things to you that they think that you want to hear. And then it's like, well, no, I really don't believe in that. Because it was somebody who talked to me, and they seem they be all nice and smiley, but they want you to be docile. They don't want you to have free thoughts, because what you are trying to sell to me, I think is a bunch of hogwash. I don't say it because I'm not trying to cause that type of tension, but I think that you are equally bad for the black person as the other people are who are outright, vocal about what it is that they want to do. You know what I'm saying? They're not counterpunchers. They over there, they coming at you. And I always know how to handle a counterpunch. You understand what I'm saying? I'm pretty Whitaker when it comes to that. But anyway, moving on, man. You got Tyson Fury, man. He announced his retirement. Do you think this is legitimate? He's going to stay away from the sport, or is this just a little bit of time off of Tyson Fury before he fights somebody like AJ in the future?
Man, who knows? I think he is going to come back eventually. I think he's going to really retire, make people believe it, and eventually he's going to come back and he's going to tease a fight with AJ, and he's going to fight a bum. That's what's probably going to happen.
Okay. Talk to us, King. What you think?
Oh man, I don't see. I don't think he's retiring. I think he's trying to, build the price up on that big money fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. I definitely don't think he's retiring. I think he's trying. I really think he's trying to fight AJ. I think part of it is he's trying to. Like I think like when you lose sometimes, and you've been undefeated for so long, it can mess with you mentally. So I think he's trying to get himself back right mentally, and at the
Hold
same
on.
time, I think he's trying to get the price up.
I
But
feel you. I
I
feel you.
do think he's as intention to fight AJ eventually.
Look at this Buster right here. Look at this Buster. He's sitting up here this injured. Like, first off, why are you using that word? You coon. Like, go somewhere. Like, you want to go ahead and spew that negativity and stuff like that. What I mean by not being a content creator is I mean that like trying to figure out different ways to hit the algorithm, sir. That's what I mean. But you want to say this N word? Like, brother, like, please go somewhere else, bozo. You understand what I'm saying? Like, go somewhere else. Go and go jump off a bridge somewhere. And I'll be, if you want to make me happy, ninja. Anyway, what do you think, Todd? Nah, I thought the dude was on something, man. He over here, he talking some boxing talk. Then he want to spew that negativity. Man, get up out of here, dude. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, we seen Tyson Fury. We seen him say this at least 5 times now. So I don't know what to say. I don't know if I can take it serious or not. I mean, maybe it's just maybe it's just a ploy and he's gonna fool everybody and come back and hop in another big fight. But we've seen Tyson Fury do this numerous times. So I don't know, but I can say that he did lose 2 times, both times to the same fighter. It was for the undisputed crown. I mean, that's the biggest crown that you can get, in the heavyweight division. He came up short both times. So he could be hurt from that. We know he's had some mental stuff in the past. Maybe he's seriously hurt from this and maybe he can't recover from it. I don't know. But like I said, Tyson Fury, he does this. He's done this like 5 times now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the man for his word because he did look like he's losing a step after watching him in that Usyk fight. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the case, he may, just be. It could be a situation where right now he feels that way because he's kind of disappointed in the results of the Usyk fight. Also, he may be seeing it himself that he's not what he used to be in the past. That could be the case. It could be what you said, Shane, as far as like trying to even get a little bit more money for him to face somebody like AJ, because that fight is a little bit more dangerous now than it was when they first were talking about it, because he looks more susceptible to being hurt against somebody who can punch as hard as AJ. But we'll see, man. If he is about to retire, he brought a lot to the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like some of my fond moments of him was when he fought against Klitschko and how he just, demoralized Klitschko. He was over there playing around with him. The Deontay Wilder fights were outstanding. And even the Usyk fights, you know what I'm saying? And he showed flashes of brilliance when he fought against Dillian White, landing that uppercut. To me, that was Tyson Fury around his best. Like, he looked flawless. Like, Dillian couldn't do anything with him. So he brought a lot to the sport, man. So shout out to the big man. But we'll see. You know how Tyson Fury's very, very unpredictable. You gonna say something?
Yeah, I want to put one more thing on that. That I just thought of. With with him and AJ both being British as well, like even under Al Sheik, they might be, like I think obviously they'd want the fight to be at like Wembley or something. I think a part of that would be too that he is somewhat afraid of the fact that they favor AJ, and if he gets clipped, say he doesn't get dropped, but he gets clipped. I think in his mind, especially if he really believes the denial that, and actually thinks that he won the fights. I think in his mind, it could say like, well, if I get clipped, they're going to give him the decision. You know what I'm saying? So that could be part of like why he's not just eager to take the fight right away.
You know what Turkey should come up with is a buffoonery card and come up with a Buster Olympics. And I would nominate DT3, the Boom Man, as a prime candidate to participate.
I'm with you.
All right,
Be cool. We'll be cool.
all right, think of all that, man. These chumps. So Ennis right here, it looks like it's I for April, man. My prediction, I'm telling you, you know, I'm saying I think when Boots steps his level of opposition up, and if it's done in 2025, you give him a Stan Jonas and you get somebody as equally as talented as Stan Jonas, I predict a loss this year for Boots Ennis. And I say that it's just I'm just basing on his track record as far as at this stage of his career, fighting the fighters that he's been facing. I think by now they would have been pushing for him to fight somebody who is tougher than the guys he's been facing, because there have been opportunities out there. And then when I look at him struggling against Karen, then I'm looking at the conversations that he's having after the Karen fight, the indecisive nature, not wanting to go up and face Ortiz, but then entertaining the idea of facing Teofimo Lopez, saying that you want all of the belts at 147. That's the reason why you stand there, but you entertaining these other things. The level of confusion that's there. I think there's a reason why he hasn't been facing these guys. And so, like I said, when you see him against certain opponents, he looks amazing. But then when you see him against somebody who isn't scared, who's a sturdy 147 pounder, such as Karen, he didn't look so hot. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen once he faces somebody like Stan Jonas on a consistent basis. But what about you? What do you think?
It's a good fight for both guys. I mean, it's a fight that, as you said, that Stan Jonas has he has an opportunity to win. Ennis could win this if he is what he's been marketed as. And actually, I actually would pick Ennis in this fight, just not as going away as much as people think. But I think it's a step in the right direction. It's a good fight for Boots. It's actually a better, even though he will get a bigger name than what we talked about in the last few weeks with the Teofimo Lopez or even the Ryan Garcia. They're not welterweights, and this would show me a lot more, even though Ryan Garcia or Teofimo Lopez will get him more famous or get him more hits, on World Star. This is what will show that he's the man in the welterweight division. So step in the right direction.
Bet. What about you, Shane?
I'm gonna be honest. First of all, like, I don't think he could beat Teofimo Lopez if Teofimo Lopez come on his A game, But I mean, Boots done got a little bit on the hating game himself. I seen him earlier. I seen him earlier on a clip, talking about the Garcia and Haney fight and everything, and he seemed like he just had some real hate out there, like, I mean, just dissing the man, for no reason, like, other than just, maybe some jealousy or something. I don't know. I didn't understand it. For somebody that struggled themselves, like in a legal fight, for you to diss somebody, who has turned, who has fought somebody that done a lot of dirty things, like, I mean, it makes me wonder about him now, like, is he on the hating game? If he's on the hating game, like, why is that? I do think this is a winnable fight for him, but I agree with you that he could probably get his first loss sometime this year, because he just doesn't seem like he's there mentally.
What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I'm going with Boots, man. I just think with Stan Jonas, with the inactivity, he only fought once in 24. He didn't fight in 23. I know he had the injury. He's had a fallouts with Virgil Ortiz. So I just feel that Boots has just been a little more active, and maybe Stan Jonas will be a little rusty going into this fight. But I think it's a good fight, man. I like the fight, and I'm 100% for it.
Man, that's probably the best fight, with the exception of Brian Norman. I want to see that one as well. But I'll tell you, I think Boots against those two is tricky. I think Stanionis is better, but he's been
Norman
inactive.
knocks him out.
See, Norman, I listen, they smell something with that Boots fight. I can sense it, man. And it's like, it's not going to be easy unless Boots just catches him. But I see him being so aggressive and he can hit hard and he places his shots the right way. I've never seen Boots fight somebody who's young, hungry like that, and vice versa. But I've seen Norman fight against better opposition, though, and I see them willing to put Norman in with tougher guys than Boots. They're more eager to do so. They're willing to take on challenges and things of that nature, where I see Bozy and them kind of more reluctant. Oh, I'm doing it. My bad. Anything else?
Man, you all right over there, bud?
No, I'm cool. So Jose Valenzuela and Gary Antoine Russell about to fight on March 1st. What do y'all think about that?
I think it's a good fight, man, and I like that Gary Antoine Russell is looking at an opponent like this for his first fight after a loss. As a fight that he could win and get himself back into, contention at 140. Valenzuela, he had his victories over Chris Colbert at 135. So I guess he, 140 is where he's at home for now. And Gary Antoine Russell, I think, fighting a smaller guy, but still a smaller guy with some skills and power, I think it'll be good for him, to get some confidence back. I mean, it's not like Russell was just fighting some, a bum just to get a win. It's at least a viable opponent. So I like what he's doing here.
What about you, Shane?
Yeah, I think he can KO him in 3. To be honest, I like Russell.
You think it's gonna be that quick?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he's coming out hard for this one.
What about you, Ty? You think it's a KO also?
Yeah, I got Russell on this one, man. Yes, he came up short in his last fight, but he's still got power. He's got almost all knockouts in all of his fights or so, and this is his opportunity, to get a title. I think he's going to take full advantage. When Rayo, he definitely going to, keep his distance and everything. But I think Russell is just going to keep coming forward nonstop, and he's going to overwhelm, Valenzuela with his pressure. So I got Russell by, I'll say, a late stoppage.
Yeah, I think Russell will be back in the winning column. Rayo, man, if he's going to take on Russell in his first, fight, defending his belt, that says a lot about his confidence, because he could take an easier voluntary defense, I would think, or push for like the Cruz rematch or something like that. But this right here is a serious opponent. If he's able to get past Gary Antoine Russell, to me, that's saying that he's a real solid champion at 140 pounds, because that's one of the tougher guys there. And I think that, the fight that he had, his last fight was close. You know what I mean? But I thought the other guy got the nod. Probably if they have a rematch, I think that Russell probably will fare a lot better. He understands what he's dealing with now, and I think he'll make a few more adjustments. But he's just a big, strong, sturdy 140-pound guy that just keeps coming. And he's had some, tests, when he got the post-stalls and he got the Bartholomews and things like that for him to, utilize at fighting at that level and going against this Rayo fight. To me, Rayo looked good, though. Like, I like what I saw in the Pitbull fight, but Pitbull has so many limitations, especially at 140, so short. And it's hard for him to get to his target. But Russell is like 5'10", so he won't have that same luxury of being able to just move out of the way of his shots. And that pressure is going to be coming all night. And I think there's people maybe thinking that he has a similar fighter that he's going to be facing, since Cruz kind of fights that way. He just doesn't have the attributes and dimensions that Russell has. But like I say, that boy is coming like a pit bull throughout the whole fight. I think he'll wear Rayo down, but Rayo's going to have some opportunities because he does have some power, and he probably will catch Gary Antoine a few times. And it's going to depend on whether Gary can handle it. I think he can. Seems to have a pretty solid set of whiskers, but that constant pressure, I just think towards the latter part of the fight, he's going to wind up getting to Valenzuela and probably get a stoppage. All right, T.O. he confirms the Richardson Hitchens fight is in discussions. Let me ask you this, man: does T.O. lead the league in fight like negotiations that not pan out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was supposed to. He's talking about Tank. He's talking about Boots. Then he's talking about Matias. Now he's saying he's supposed to be fighting Hitchens. Like I say, to me, if I was him, I would have took that Matias fight because he's slow footed and he it's a better matchup for him. But do you think this is actually going to transpire? And if so, who would you favor in a fight between Hitchens and T.O.?
Who knows? Because Teofimo, he's always talking about a fight, and the more he talks, the more just about every name shows up with him in a fight, except if it's David Haney or somebody. He doesn't say anything, or if it's Shakur Stevenson. But in a fight with him and Richardson Hitchens, I think it's hard to say because when Tio is on, he's on. But when he's not, I can see Teofimo Lopez walking in there and underestimating Hitchens and getting beat. So, right now, today, I'm just off the top of my head, I'm going with Hitchens. I say Hitchens upset him. Tio does like a Tio. He believes his own hype. He goes in there looking at a fight with Boots or Tank or whoever, looking at these bigger fights, looking beyond Hitchens, looking at Hitchens as this is some up and coming guy, and he's gonna get beat.
Yeah, before you go, Shane, I just looked in the chat. This Buster's still up in the chat, man. Why don't you find something to do? You a sucker, man. Like, you a bozo for real. So I'm gonna ignore you, sir, because obviously you are like a lowbrow individual. You understand what I'm saying? To be on somebody else's page just to be typing ignorant type of stuff. That's don't give that dude no pass. He's a sucker, man. So
I don't know the guy. It's just let's just move this comment with the N word. I just don't like the N word. I really that's one thing I don't like. You know?
Listen, man, you should have better things to do. If you don't like something, then you just go ahead and remove yourself. But you sitting up here spewing all this negativity and nonsense up in the chat, that just means you're a bozo. But anyway, what did you say, Shane?
Well, I'm gonna hit T.O. in just a second, but there is a very, very big difference between being somebody that enjoys talking about boxing with people that you met that may not live in the same area you do and posting it than there is being a content creator. A content creator is somebody who is searching for an algorithm, like you stated, to try and create things. They will go along with narratives and everything. We don't BS over here. They go along with narratives and things that they see that will allow them to get more views. They can be bought and sold and all of that. And that is not the case here. So
exactly. That's why I say I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that, because that is what, see, when you used to have content creators, they kind of went against the main media who used to have different agendas. So they might have been ESPN who would like kind of make their boxers supposed to be the greatest boxers. You had Showtime, like they would do the same thing. So then you got the different promoters and stuff like that. So you never had like a objective view of the sport in its totality. The content, the people who used to talk about boxing, that's who you could go to. But now they've been like paid off. So you'll see people who you knew who have some integrity. Now they lack the integrity because they want to either stay cool with somebody so they can get interviews, or they want to be in the algorithm. To me, those are content creators, not somebody who's getting up here and they are, telling you their perspective, their opinion, because they love the sport of boxing. You don't care anything about it. You might have your favorite fighters, but you're not sitting up here capping for them. You're just being realistic. And that's the reason, that's what we bring to the table with this particular program. Again, not being a content creator, we just over here talking boxing with a camera on and a microphone, and that's it. Exactly. But thank you, Shane. When it comes to this right here, what do you think, though? You think what's your thoughts on this topic?
Well, I think Tio, if he really was taking this fight, I think he would be Tio and come in there seriously. But speaking of content creators, I think Tio is looking to become a content creator. And even if it's not him creating the content, you know, I feel like he does this to keep his name relevant, where people discuss him versus this person, him versus that person, you know, like, you know, until I see a dotted line sign from him, I don't trust that he's gonna get in any fight. And I like his fights. I think he is exciting, man. He is a guy, he is a showman for sure. In every sense of the word. Like, I mean, he can put on a phenomenal fight. He has phenomenal ring entrances, phenomenal finishes, and celebrations to him and everything. And he's beat big names and everything. But I don't know what in the world's happened to the guy over the past, I don't know, year and a half or so. But I mean, I know he has fought within that time, but even then, like, he's been talking big, and then we end up with somebody that is nowhere near the level of people that he's talking about.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So in other words, he does things like for shock value, or he does things to keep his name afloat. And so he doesn't necessarily mean to do. It's kind of like the Barnum and Bailey's type thing. He try to, you know, do whatever it is he can to have his name out there. You know who does a really good job of that? What organization does a really good job of that? The Dallas Cowboys. You'll see conversations about Dallas Cowboys, and you got these huge games coming up, and it's like, dang, is Deion Sanders going to be the head coach? Are they going to do this? You know, they're really good at that. But what about you?
So, I just wanted to add this before you go, Ty. So he's Barnum and Bailey so much so that in his last fight that I saw, he had the song and a circus up there on the stage, you know, like P.T. Barnum. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wants to be a showman more than a fighter.
Yeah. And then it's Clobberton time. I think that's what you said. I think Hench is a bit overhyped, but he's a good boxer. Hope that unification happens, and I think T.O. will stop him late. That's interesting, because you may be right, and I can't. We don't know until they get inside the ring. It's just a lot of times with those slick boxers or those just boxers, T.O. typically has more trouble with them than he does with guys who like to come to him, or somebody who he's really game planning for, like when he fought Lomachenko. It seemed like they were targeting Lomachenko, and after the Lomachenko fight, his career has been kind of all over the place because I don't think they had the same thought process for after he beat Lomachenko. But that's a good assessment. You got his 50-50 fight could go either way. I think you're talking about the Teofimo. He's saying that, yep, okay, and then he says they both got popped. Oh, he's talking about Bud and he's talking about Bud and Canelo fight. We're gonna get to that. That's gonna be on here. We definitely gonna discuss that. So I'm gonna get to you, Legend. Who do you think is going to will win in a Hitchinson versus Lopez fight?
At this point, I'm gonna just go with Hitchens. I know he doesn't have that much power, but to me, he's very skilled. Like, I like what he did in the Jose Zepeda fight, and like, of course, you know, Teofimo Lopez is a good fighter, but you know, if you just look at his past fights, yes, he beat Loma, but Loma, he's a great fighter. Yeah, but when he fought Loma just turned it up too. He just took forever to turn it on. Then when he did turn it on, he was definitely putting the pause on Teal. And the Santa Martin fight, he questioned himself. So he has some holes in his game, but I just think like depends on like how the build up for that fight would be. If they're doing a lot of trash talking at the press conferences and everything, I can see Teal coming in and making a mistake like he did against what's my boy's name from Australia?
Oh, Kambosos.
Yeah, I think he'll come in there and just make a mistake and slip up. But I think Hitchens would just be more focused, keeping his composure if he gets hurt. So I would give it to, at this point, I would give it to Hitchens by decision.
What I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but what slick black fighter has T.O. fought?
I don't recall. What's the guy? Richard Comey. But I don't know.
Yeah, but Comey wasn't really slick. He ain't slick. I think you can make a better case because because Will kind of back me in the corner, but you could make a case that Lomachenko was slick. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko was slick, but Comey wasn't slick at all.
He is, but one thing Ty was right. Lomachenko took too long to get started, like way too long, and T.O. jumped out there and stole enough rounds, to where it's too late.
I think also T.O. looked about 2 weight classes bigger than Loma too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a little bit.
He does.
When you fight against Henchins, that's a solid 140-pound fighter who's just going to be boxing right there. And only thing with Henchins, I think that he learned from his mistakes. He doesn't have the Chris Colbert syndrome. He seems like he would have. I thought that he did when he had the last fight before, winning his belt. He was in there trying to gun it out with his opponent, who was a more compact puncher, and that's why he had so much trouble in his previous fight. But like I said, I think he learned from that, because when he won the title, he was doing what he had to do. Like he did him. And he wasn't trying to do anything extra. He just brought to the table all the advantages that he had. He utilized that to a T, and that's how he was able to be victorious. So if he just does that, the fight is going to be close. It's going to be tough because sometimes T.O. just has trouble with that particular type of style. He says it's a clubber in time. Clubber, I can't see that good, sir. You know what I'm saying? I think it says clubber.
It's clobbering time, like CM Punk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. But he says, thank you, sir, for chiming in on this. He says, I think T.O. immaturity gets the best of him, in my opinion, why he is so inconsistent. People forget that T.O. only has 22 fights. That is true. Amongst other things. Sometimes T.O. seemed like he's off his rocker sometimes, too. I saw a picture this picture right here with him and Canelo. I wonder what. Hopefully, Canelo's calm presence probably brought more of a mature T.O. out, because sometimes listening to him, what the hell is T.O. talking about? So now we get to the goodies right here. So Haney and Garcia, it's looking like the rematch is going to be in October, and possible trilogy in 2026, both in Saudi Arabia. You also have what's been stated, and I needed to put this in order. So that's one possibility, but it looks like after that rematch that they're going to have, it's going to be, or it could possibly be, Boots against T.O. on that same card. Turkey has a whole list of fights, man. Like this dude is, Bell, you talking down on him, man. He's bringing it. He's making boxing great again, man. But
have we seen any of these fights? And are we seeing any fights this month? Why are we not recapping anything today? And that's part of my problem.
The reason why you're not recapping anything, because you have to set a sound plan up. It's the calm before the storm. You can't just keep having fight after fight. He's taking care of business. He's trying to work with Matchroom. He's trying to work with PBC. He's also trying to get it where possible control of all of those different, entities, so he can really, make the moves that he's trying to make. But it's some big stuff coming. And
I'm not saying that. I'm saying not as far as him per se. I'm saying you have boxers, they're waiting on him just to make fights, and they could have had a lot of fights between November and March when they're trying to fight.
So did Bivol and Beterbiev, they finally fought when Turkey put the money up for the fight. You had Tyson Fury, you had the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury, you got Oleksandr Usyk unification match.
Mm-hmm.
You got, it's just so many fights that the dude done put on. Like, come on, man, we wasn't getting all this type of stuff before. And then the money that, I don't know. Anyway,
we got unified welterweight fight just a year ago.
How long did that take to get Errol Spence and Errol Spence can't even get back in the ring? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Turkey can't get back in the ring if they try.
I don't understand. How is this even a question in terms of the product that we're getting now, as far as the best fighting the best? That's all we've been arguing about. The only people who complain about this is you and Tank.
What do you think? So Ryan Garcia versus Boots is the best versus the best.
It's exciting.
It's exciting.
Yes, exciting.
That's a good tournament right there. So if you got T.O. versus Boots,
that's Ryan's end of his career.
It could be, but we still get. What do you prefer to see?
That's
He
that
said-
might.
I would bet you money Ryan Garcia can beat Bucenas.
Can, but he won't. Well. What's the drug testing like?
Can we stay focused in on this right here? Haney Garcia
Yes,
rematch.
yes.
What do you think about that, fellas? As far as the outcome, clean Ryan Garcia versus clean Devin Haney.
Well, that's the problem. We don't know if this fight's gonna be clean.
Well,
Saudi Arabia is taking place in Saudi Arabia. Then they're saying Haney wants VADA, and Garcia saying, "Hey, I don't do VADA."
Man, talk to me because he's not going to answer the question.
So it's not going to be a fair fight. It's not going to be a fair fight. So I think Garcia do the same thing because it won't be fair. Garcia's going to come on there, juice, and he's going to come in at the 147 while Haney is making 140.
That's what you think. So some type of conspiracy. So Shane, what do you think? So I can put this. So if we having a discussion about if the fight happens, both of these fighters are clean. Who wins the fight? Not all of this stuff we don't know. But if that was the case, who wins?
I still think Ryan Garcia wins, to be honest. And I just don't think he would be. I don't think it would go down as brutally. That's if that's a lot of ifs, to get him in there in a clean fight with a clean, make him wait and everything. But I don't know. Maybe it's a lot closer in a real legit fight. I definitely think this is a lot closer. These guys just know each other well, and he's just one of those dudes that can give Haney problems because he knows him so well.
Shane, keyword you just said, legit fight. You said legit.
What about you, Ty? What do you think? What happened if these guys come into the ring? Thank you, Shane, for
clean Haney beats a clean Garcia.
I can't even cut this segment up because he's keep talking about stuff that we don't know about. Like I'm talking about these guys coming to the ring. Talk to us, legend.
I would go with Haney.
Talk to me. Yeah, okay. Why is that? What do you think?
They just like it's just playing in my mind. If Ryan has been on PEDs for so long, I mean, is he really getting all those knockouts because of the PEDs? But yeah, so it's tricky, man. It's like Haney for me, and then it's like Ryan. I mean, of course, Ryan has the power. Haney doesn't have the power like that, but he's very skilled. So I could see Haney just keep tagging Ryan. But if Ryan lands a big shot, Haney could be in trouble again. So it's really a toss-up for me, man. So just based on everything that's happened in the last fight, I would go with Haney. But like I said, Ryan does have the power though. So, but how is he going to look without the juice? So that's my real question. So
see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, Ty. I don't mean to cut you off, good brother. It's this though. Like you're right. However, see, a lot of these dudes, and Arrow brought this up the other day with his tweet. He said that boxing is messed up because all dudes can have to do is, if they're not on, like, if they're not getting tested, they can be using the drug all that time because these dudes taking all these long layoffs. You're not getting tested, so you can reap the benefits like the muscle tissues and everything like that you're building when you're on it, and you can cycle off, and you've already reaped the rewards of being on that PED. So if that's the case, then he's still going to have some type of benefits from taking something, if he's still doing it. So it may be out of his system, but the damage was done in terms of making your muscles stronger, bigger, and stuff like that. That would be another issue for me, dealing with somebody like a Ryan Garcia. But I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
No, you good. But I mean, I would say this. My gut would say Ryan, but my heart would want Haney just for everything that's happened. So, but I just still feel that even though the decision got changed to a no contest, I still feel that Haney maybe like in the back of his mind, he still really hasn't got over that. I mean, I know they had the lawsuit. I don't know if it's been dropped or whatnot, but I just still feel like Haney hasn't gotten over that, and he really just wants to get that back and correct that. Even though it got changed to no contest, he really just wants to get back in there and beat the brakes off Ryan for being on the PDs, for coming in overweight. So I just feel like Haney will he would come in there, more focused, defensively sound and just be on his A game. But I'm just afraid that if Ryan catches him, how's he going to react? Is he going to keep his composure? Is he going to, those are the questions that I have. So, but like I said, my gut would probably go for Ryan, but my heart would go for Haney.
So let's redirect this. So they do have a fight card that's going to take place in May. And so you got the Ryan Garcia versus Eastside Cruz fight. I want to say it's like at a catch weight. Ryan is saying he wouldn't have it at 140 because he said Pitbull is so little. He said he don't want to do him like that. But I think it's going to be 144, I think. And then Devin and Jose Ramirez is going to clash as well on that same card. Shout out to, my main man, Sheik, for putting on this right here. It's a heck of a double header. What do you see in both of those fights? What's your prediction for the Garcia versus Cruz, and then also Devin Haney versus Jose Luis Ramirez?
Well, first, shout out to his clobbering time, man. He, so I got you. I see the long game. That's what I'm looking at when it comes to the Saudis' involvement. So, for the Ryan Garcia versus Isaac Cruz, at 144 with a juiced up Garcia, man, that dude going dog walk Isaac Cruz. Dog walks him.
Okay.
Isaac Cruz won't have the power to keep up with a juiced Ryan Garcia. Garcia can use his reach, he uses size, he has all the advantages. And Isaac Cruz is like 5'4", you know what I'm saying? He's too small to even be at 140, let alone 144, a catch weight, Then Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. I think it's a great fight for Haney. I think Ramirez is made for Haney, but I think it's a great fight for Haney to, get his confidence back, take punches by a big, strong guy and pretty much dominate him in the same way, probably even more so than he did Regis Prograis. So I got Devin Haney dominating that fight.
All right. I think Shane dropped off. Ty, I'm going to get you in a second. We got Coach Eddie in the building. Coach, what's good with you?
Hey, what's happening, bro? What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing to it. Anything you want to chime in on in particular?
Yeah. I've been listening for about the past 30 minutes or so, man. As far as the Ryan Garcia, first of all, T.O., I'm trying to catch back up. I don't want to change the subject, but yeah, T.O., man, I don't think T.O. I think T.O. doing a lot of pump faking right now, man.
He playing double.
Yeah, man. I don't know about this guy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think Richardson. I think he's gonna beat him, man. I really do. Yeah. T.O. has trouble with guys who can box, man. I noticed that with him, and it's so inconsistent. And a lot of these guys that we thought were the goods, I think they really sold us on them. You know what I mean? Just through promotion and just a lot of YouTube channels. Once you keep hearing something over and over and over again, you start to believe it. You know what I'm saying? But then your eyes don't deceive you. You know what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I think Richards is going to beat him, man. I think he can outbox him. I really do. T.O.'s power hadn't really translated up to the next weight division. So and also just being out of the ring so long, just being inconsistent and what's the word I'm looking for? Inactivity. I think inactivity is going to hurt all these fighters at the end of the day. I like Pitbull Cruz, Ryan Garcia. Hey, to me, that's a 45-55 fight, man. Because Ryan Garcia, he doesn't like pressure. He doesn't like pressure.
But check this out, Coach. You think that at the advanced weight, though, because Pitbull is a little dude. And do you think, because when I was checking him out against Valenzuela, that was his issues that he couldn't get to him because he was too long. And by Valenzuela keeping that jab on him, Pitbull didn't have a plan B. He's just swinging those shots and he's just missing like crazy. Do you think Ryan could do something like that too, and then like set him up with some of that left hand action that he does, or you think that Pitbull is going to like catch him with something?
It's two different fighters, man. I think Venezuela is a more complete fighter than Ryan Garcia. He's more complete, even though Ryan has all the flash. He has the speed, especially in that left hook. But Ryan really doesn't box. You know what I mean? He's more a guy that's set up, let you make a mistake, let you overreach, and he'll kill you just because he's so fast. You know what I'm saying? He hits you with that left hook and it comes out of nowhere. I think with Pitbull Cruz being so small and being short like that, I think a lot of them left hooks are gonna have to probably gonna go over his head, man. And Pitbull Cruz is he's defensively sound, man. I mean, he's tight, keeps that head down, keeps his hands up. You know what I'm saying? And when he fought Rolly Romero at 140, he was strong, man. And Rolly hit him with some big shots, clean shots, and didn't do nothing to him, man. And Rolly can punch. We said we want to say about Rolly, but he's a puncher. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can't say he can't punch. He has power. And Pitbull ate those shots and was able to keep coming. See, one thing about Ryan Garcia, he'll do that booty roll on you. You know what I'm saying? Not the shoulder roll. He'll turn his back on you. You know, we've seen that. Even Devin Haney, you could really go back and look at that fight. Devin Haney was outboxing Ryan Garcia. He outboxed him. When he was boxing, it was easy. He hurt Ryan Garcia several times in that fight. He just couldn't capitalize on it. Devin Haney doesn't have that killer instinct to go get you. He'll hit you and then just let you recover.
No, that's real. You know, real. But let's focus in on this, Coach. So you like Cruz's chances. What about Devin and Jose Ramirez? I think they're gonna get the job done. I think they'll get the job done. Yeah. I'm a favor Devin in that fight for sure. And then last thing I got for you is this. The last question is: do you think that it's gonna take a little bit of time for Dev to get those cobwebs off of him after that Ryan Garcia fight? You know, being dropped on a few occasions.
You know, to be honest, man, I don't really think so, man, because he's been out of the ring for a pretty good while. Sometimes getting dropped is sometimes it can be good for a fighter because you can kind of go ahead and get it out the way. You know, I think Shakur needs to be dropped. Then he can go ahead and get it out the way because it frees you. It's like taking a friggin' jacket off. You know what I'm saying? It's like you waiting for something to happen that happens to everybody. So when it finally happens, you just go ahead and move forward. So yeah, I think Devin Haney is gonna be free this fight, man. I think he's gonna have fun. I think he's gonna do a number on this guy.
Yeah, I hope so. And that's a shame on a lot of people who like made fun of Devin after the Ryan Garcia fight, because I thought it was more to be proud of than it was to be disappointed about, because the kid showed so much heart. It's like, dang, it's like when Ali lost to Frazier, and it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, he got dropped like that, but he still kept coming back, you know, for more. And that's what you want in your warriors that you root for, is that they had that never say die attitude, you know. So, you know, hopefully people look at it from that perspective, through that lens. You got anything else you want to chop it up with us about, or you good?
No, I'm good, man. Y'all getting ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up in a second. I gotta watch my boy Lamar. I gotta get ready to go to my spot.
Okay, yeah, for sure. There, you know what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Hey,
I just want to tap in for a minute.
Yes, sir. You got a football team that you support?
Man, to be honest, I ain't even been down with it lately, man. I ain't been keeping up with no sports other than boxing, basketball. I just don't know anybody no more. You know, I ain't been following the sport, man. So I ain't been keeping up with it.
I tell you what, Coach, you ain't missing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So. Especially the Lions got their boat with. But man, I appreciate you coming through.
Okay, brother. Y'all stay up, man.
Yes, sir. Peace. It's Coach right there, man. And then Ty, what are your thoughts on this card, you know, by the Sheik?
Yeah, as far as Ryan and Isaac Cruz, I'm gonna go with Ryan. I just think, like you said, like Cruz, like when he was coming in against, you know, Valenzuela just, you know, keeping his distance, keeping that jab in front of his face, and, you know, Cruz couldn't really do anything. And I could see that the same thing happened with Ryan, except Ryan is a lot faster, and he's got the power. So I can see Cruz coming in, and, you know, Ryan keeping his distance and just throwing hooks and countering him, and eventually Cruz is gonna, you know, he's gonna get clipped. But he does have a chin. So, but I definitely got Ryan Garcia easily in that fight. As far as Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez, it's a good fight. Ramirez, he's beaten a lot of credible opponents, and he's lost to some good opponents. So I think Haney, after everything that happened to him, he wants to make a statement. But I got Haney winning by decision. But I think it'll be a tougher fight than people expect.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect opportunity, perfect timing to face Ramirez, and especially at this part of Devin's career, coming off of the fight with Ryan Garcia, which was kind of grueling, knocked down several times, possibly suffered a broken jaw, having a long layoff, and then you fight somebody who's kind of on the downside. And to me, Jose Ramirez never was really just like a power puncher. He's just more somebody who grinds you down, and he's somebody too, kind of overachiever. He's not the most talented guy, but with his fighting style, his aggressive nature, and like the amount of pressure that he applies on his opponents kind of wilts the opponent. But he's not at his apex now. And so I think that where he is, Devin should be able to get a nice, tough fight. But at the same time, he should be able to, get the cobwebs off of him, get the rust off of him, and then he can move forward, wherever it is that he's trying to go with his career, the potential Ryan Garcia match, or if he's going to go in a different direction. But it looks like Ryan Garcia would be next if he's victorious. As Clyburn Time says, Bivol was offered a fight with Arthur and turned it down because he wanted more money. And the Zerto fight kept getting delayed as Bivol kept upping the price tag. Okay, so thanks to Sheik for getting the fights together with Better B. Yeah, man, that's my deal. But he keep making the fights that keep the sport pushing. I ain't tripping. That's what I'm saying. Like, man, you making the fights. You got anything to that, Veil, that you want to?
Yeah. That's what we said about PBC when we was getting those fights on Fox Network. We getting the fights though, and we went. I learned at first we were cool with it. Then it moved from regular television to Showtime, and I was like, I'm still cool. Now then I started moving to pay-per-views. Then I'm like, wait a minute, it's for we free. We paying for $8 pay-per-views to see Tank versus Lamont Roach. Now we went from that. Now we only get what, 1 or 2 PBC pay-per-views a year now. You know what I'm saying? So and none of these fights are fighting. When did Charlo's fight? You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm coming from. I see the long game.
You're talking to somebody who has like unlimited amount of resources and money. And that's not the problem. The problem is only going to happen is if he does it, like if he gets everything fulfilled, like all his dream matches that he want to see, that he no longer cares about that anymore, and he moves on to something else. Because it doesn't even look like he's concerning himself with profit. He said, I got all this money, man. What's the cause, man? I just want to see this fight. You're dealing with somebody who has that type of money. So it's not like a profit margin. You're thinking more of a Westernized mentality about everything's about money. He's more so about what he wants to see, and like seeing like great matches or fantasy fights that he just personally wants to put on. And that's a totally different ball game.
And then when he's done, then what's going to happen? Then when
we
he says,
don't know.
Then all these fighters are going to be asked for the same paycheck they're never going to get, and then we're never going to get any fights, and we're going to be back here with no shit.
Haven't had any meat all year, but typically I like me a nice steak. You get me a nice thick 20-ounce steak, and you get me a side of mashed potatoes, and you got like some type of green vegetable there. I love that. If you go ahead and offer me that steak, medium well,
medium rare.
Like, well, how after I eat this, what am I gonna wash it down with? Like, I'm not caring about it. I got me a nice steak right here. So why am I gonna be worrying about other stuff when I should be focusing in on what's good in front of me?
You still need some water, man. You need something to wash it down with.
I can get something to drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even worried about that. But I tell you this man is providing us with very good fights, man, and we should just be appreciative and not think about what could go wrong. Like come on, man. That's the pessimistic attitude. I told you several shows ago, you the kid in that room with all the toys and worrying about which one you're gonna play with first. All right, now it says I'm a big Pit Bull fan, but the hand speed would be a nightmare for Isak. But Ryan is even more immature than Tio, so he could definitely lay an egg. You never know. And then he had a long time off. I think Ryan sometimes takes about a year off anyway. Because remember, he had the Luke Campbell fight, and he took a year off and fought to go. So it's nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
going to be juiced out his eyeball. So that's what I'm basing my prediction on.
He says, Jesse Silva says, King Ryan, it seems like a King Ryan fan, is going to win against Little Pitbull by murder. They're sacrificing Little Pitbull to King Ryan Garcia.
Hey, we don't use that murder word, the N word. We don't use beat to death, nothing like that.
Pitbull is a sacrifice to King Ryan. Real talk. King Ryan, this King Ryan is getting he's a little much, is going to do Pitbull dirty, just like Haney. It's a cold world. Yeah, them steroids is a cold world too. You understand what I'm saying? I like to see what he gonna do without the roids, though, good brother. You know, is he gonna be King Rye? Is he gonna be Peasant Rye? You understand me? All right, now let's go ahead and move forward with these topics, man. Shout out to Coach Eddie, though. You'll get in. Haney promises Teofimo showdown after Ramirez fight, so we don't know. It looks like it's gonna be King Rye. Ryan Garcia, okay, he confirmed that. So again, that's what I was talking about as far as the in October, what the Sheik is proposing, the Ennis and Teofimo, and then Ryan Haney too. Do you like that idea? And then do you think, because I know Shane thinks that Teofimo has a legitimate shot against Boots. How about you, Phil? You think Teo will have a shot against Boots? And what would be the percentage-wise he would?
I would say 40-60. I think he's too small. And if his power is not carried up to 140, it's going to be real hard to carry up to 147. But at the same time, when I really think about Teo, the difference between this fight and Hitchens, even though Boots is a lot better than Hitchens, in my opinion, I feel like Teo will be way more up for this fight than Hitchens. So so Boots won't have less opportunity to Boots won't have the same opportunity that Hitchens had because Teo is going to be up. And that's the thing with Teo's career. It's like it's hard for him to even predict what he can do, what he can't. Because I remember us all predicting that he would get mollywopped by Josh Taylor. You know what I'm saying? So Teo's hard to predict, but I still got Ennis winning this fight, though.
Well, there's a couple things before I turn it over to you, Ty. One is the Teo that fought Josh Taylor is just the way he was talking, and also what Ty referred to earlier of him questioning himself. Do I still got it? So you had all of those type of things that were going on in those press conferences. He was very delusional. He was very, he was talking like old dirty B. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like old dirty be talking. Be like, what the heck is old dirty talking about? You know what I'm saying? But the Woo know what he's talking about. But you like, what? So he was on that type of stuff. And then also, he's going to be up for whoever it is he's fighting next. And I'll tell you why. I said this before, the fact that he has a new trainer in Reynoso. So most fighters, when they have a new trainer, especially somebody who's training someone the caliber of Canelo, he's trying to impress him. So things that he wasn't really paying attention to with his previous trainer, he'll be paying attention to every detail, trying to do what the new coach is telling him to do, like I say, trying to impress him and know that I'm somebody who can take over the range once Canelo's gone, that sort of thing. And so totally different playing field that he's on now, dealing, with those people at the Reynoso's gym. So you're going to see a finer tune, or at least somebody who has his antennas up, whoever he fights next. Now, the fight after, he might go back to some of his old habits, but right now he's going to be the best version of himself in terms of focus. What about you, Ty? What do you think? You think that Teo has a chance against Boots?
Nah, I don't think he does. Like I said, this
is he getting smoked? Is he getting knocked out?
It's hard to say. I would lean toward Boots for maybe like a late stoppage because Teo hasn't fought in that division before. So so it's hard for me to just give it to Teo. I mean, even though Boots didn't get the knockout in his last fight, against the Korean dude, he still does have power. I mean, he still is a power puncher, and this is a weight that Teo hasn't fought in. So. And how is those shots going to feel to him, moving up against this guy who's got power? So I would give it to Boots, like I would say a late stoppage. I don't give Teo a shot.
How funny how the strong has fallen, man. Like Boots, at one point you would have said this is just like ridiculous. No, Teofimo has no shot against Boots. But now people are even entertaining the idea that Boots in this would be susceptible to somebody like a Teofimo Lopez. I don't think so. I don't think Boots is that bad. It's just he has some bad habits. And I'm sure that a lot of fighters see the habits as far as he's kind of stuck in the mud sometimes with his fundamentals. Like Boots lacks certain fundamentals that I know that a fighter with a keen eye knows that they can take advantage of. But I think he's too talented and too big and too strong for somebody like Tio to be able to take advantage of. Because most of the guys, with the exception of Taylor just was, he kept doing the same thing. Like he was kept rushing in, he's throwing the same type of punches. He never changed rhythms or anything like that. So Tio was able to take advantage. Like I said, you got the style on him, Josh. But I don't think Boots is that flawed, like right now, to be taken advantage of. Clobbering Time says, good point. Also, Tio been his best when Tio Senior had help in the corner. Absolutely. Needed another set of eyes. You know what I mean? Cruz and Salidos for the WBC title eliminator. I wonder who's the WBC champ. Will that put some pressure on Tank to have to face Andy Cruz in the future? I don't think Tank ever has to really face the number one contender. Like they don't ever force him to do anything. But I just want him to be able to face somebody who is a challenge. You know what I mean? That's well rounded. Also, Gilberto. He is, what does that say? Stuck with mandatory of the Torticus. I think that's how you pronounce his name, the Torticus. And they said that's a step back for the division. Now, if the Torticus is the way he was about 2-3 years ago, then that's a very tricky proposition because that dude can crack. He's a solid fighter. He just was getting older. So I don't know. You have any thoughts on that, or you good?
I'm good. Pay him some step aside money, and then you gotta worry about it.
Now let's get to it. So you asked earlier, you said you didn't know anything about the negotiations between Canelo and Crawford. They agreed to September fight. So what's going to happen is Canelo is probably going to fight that one guy for his belt. The one that we were saying that Canelo has no business in the ring with that dude, and he has no business in the ring with Canelo. So he's probably going to go in that direction. Seems like Crawford is declining a fight for May and just going to go work on everything he has to work on in preparation to face Canelo in September. Do you like that idea, first and foremost, from both guys? Secondly, who do you have? And before you answer that question, Phil, some people are saying that Crawford is too skilled for Canelo. I heard Paulie Malignaggi say that Canelo isn't as skilled as Madrimov.
That's fine that they say that, but that's
blasphemous. Where do you get that from, Paulie Malignaggi? Like, this is a fighter. This is a knowledgeable guy.
Oh, Malignaggi is a hater. You know, he'll say some stuff.
Where would you get that? To be able to even say something like that. Hear me out. You have Canelo, a long decade or more career, who's fought at elite levels against elite opposition. Madrimov, the only thing that you can say about him that most people know is that he gave Crawford a tough fight, where Crawford was on a long layoff, going into a new weight class. That's his claim to fame. I'm saying as far as what most people see. How do we know that? How would you even know that? Because he hasn't been fighting consistently at that level. But anyway, what do you think about those two things that I talked about? You know, Canelo taking a fight, Crawford not taking a fight, and who wins?
Well, Paulie Malignaggi, unless you Floyd Mayweather, who he thinks is like a god to him, he don't like you. You know, it's like he's jealous of other guys for having power or having success. That said, I'm still not sure I like that idea, and I'm not sure why Crawford wanted to go. Why is he adamant on fighting Canelo? Maybe he sees what he sees, and I think he can outbox Canelo in spots. But that power is that power. It's weight clauses for a reason. And as far as Madrimov, I don't think Madrimov is not as skilled as Canelo. That's a silly comment. But what I will say is Madrimov does have better footwork. He moves a lot faster, you know, around the ring.
Canelo does more, man. Canelo can bring.
I didn't say it. Let me make my point.
Canelo isn't the herky jerky.
No. Let me make my point. I just said that's why when people, I mean, Madrimov fights in a different style, and he does have some footwork, and he was trying to, you know, use a lot of movement against Crawford, and Canelo doesn't really fight like that. So, but I don't think his skill is Canelo as far as setting shots up, as far as being so defensively sound and having that composure, you know. But as far as footwork, yeah, it's a different style of fight. So I still would slightly favor Canelo in this fight, and I think it'll be like the better version of Canelo and Khan, where you know Crawford gonna outbox Canelo in spots until, I mean, pretty much overall until Canelo, you know, he feels that power. And Canelo tracks him down.
What about you, Ty? What do you think, sir? Before you comment, as Clementine says, facts. Thought Karen pulled a close one out in the rematch against Boots. Also heard that Paulie, for whatever reason, don't like Canelo. I think it's because of he's part of the juice crew. You know what I'm saying? The tainted meat and all that. Paulie, a Ukrainian fighter on CG super fan, thinks he's better, or think he's bitter about that. That's probably so. And that's what people overlooking with Canelo. He still has elite defense. You rarely see Canelo getting punched on like that. Now, Crawford, to his defense, he's able to land punches in unique places where most guys would think they're out of range. But here's the thing. Once he moves up to 168, I don't know, man. That might just be way too much. He may put himself at a disadvantage of being a little bit slower than he was before. And that might, just that little small timing may be something that Canelo could take advantage of. But anyway, Ty, what do you think as far as this fight between these two giants, if you will?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'll have to go with Canelo on this one. Crawford, he's done his thing, 140, 147. If I'm not mistaken, he stopped everybody at 147, 154. He beat Madrimov, but Madrimov was a good fighter. But you talking about going up another division, man. So, I mean, I credit him for, I credit for him, just wanting to, improve himself and, like, take another step and, just show the world that he's great. But I just think that's just a big of a jump. Canelo's on the decline as well. I mean, he hasn't been getting those knockouts like he used to, but this is the weight that he normally fights in. I think Crawford, he will be moving good certain points in the fight, but I think eventually, like the later rounds, he'll probably start slowing down a little bit. Might be just a little bit slower on his feet. So I'm gonna give Canelo. I'll give Canelo the decision.
The thing is, though, Crawford ain't no punk, man. That's the thing. And so, you know what's going to be the key to this fight, and it's going to tell me a lot, is if Crawford can hurt Canelo. Because anybody can be hurt. And it's a matter of him planting his feet. And when Canelo is trying to be aggressive, hitting with something that's going to keep him at bay, where he's not just overly aggressive and don't have a concern in the world. Now I can just throw my shots as ferocious as I want to, because I'm not really worried about what's coming back in return. He's able to hurt Canelo. Like, that's going to tell a whole story. And then the last part is going to be the middle to late rounds. Once they get settled in, and then the heavier weight that Crawford's going to be carrying, if that's going to have a deleterious effect on his stamina. Also, fighting the heavier guy. Like, that's very difficult to do, especially the first time doing it at this stage of his career. So I think for one night, he's going to be doing well. But I just saw, like, when I was watching that Charlo fight, Charlo, he took something and he just had to go down. It's like, no, oh my God, like, no, like, I can't take it. It's just physically impossible for me to take this brutal shot from this guy. So he sat down for a second. And they say Bud is a bigger guy than you think, but some of those shots coming from Canelo, man, they are some bone-crushing body punches, some of those shots to the head. And that's what I'm saying when I say he's not a punk. Like, Crawford's not a punk. Sometimes when you get the better of him, he wants to come right back. Like, it's just in him, like, I got to go ahead and get my get back. And you want to stymie some of those urges when you're fighting somebody who can punch like Canelo, in a mega fight like that. So hopefully, Crawford kind of tames that inner demon and then just does what he needs to do in order to secure victory. As Clementine says, I'm a Bud fan, and I think he could make it competitive, but Bud by no fault of his own, has not fought the elite comp that Canelo has. That's absolutely right. That's what I've always been saying about Canelo. That's the only knock that I had on him, was the fact of the fighters that he had been facing. He always waits to the right moment to face those guys. Canelo, you know, when we talked earlier about quarterbacks and things like that who have privilege. You're fighting somebody who has a lot of privilege. Like Canelo will get away with a lot of stuff too. So you're not going to have all of the little advantages that you will have against most of your opponents, because he's going to be the A side, you know. So that's going to play a factor as well. Crawford can make it easy. Canelo, that's what Shakur says. Obviously, he's going to say that. He's a buddy. And he also is somebody who needs to worry about making his fights more entertaining. You understand what I'm saying? All right, Fundora and Spence. Oh my God, what are we doing here? So Fundora and Spence not happening. Fundora versus Joy Spencer was supposed to be possible, but they're not allowing that fight to take place. So Fundora is just looking for another opponent. Yeah. Now Borchuk is saying, "I'll step in." You know what I'm saying? Like we can go ahead and get busy. What is this saying, man? Do you think that this is in for Spence? Like he's done and he's not fighting anymore? Or I mean, what say you?
I don't know. He didn't say he was done. I guess something's not clicking with his trainer. I don't know. Considering that he just got a new trainer, or is no one's officially his trainer, I think that's probably that's the problem right there. Is that who is his trainer? Who is training him? You know. So I don't think it's because of injuries or the end or punishment. I think it's more so from a preparation wise. I don't think all that stuff is in place.
Yeah, for man, I don't know, man. I don't like it. I mean, you talking about yes, he's supposed to be fighting at 154, but you talking about now this fight isn't happening. And then by the time he does get a fight, it'll be what, 2 years. I mean, this has got the guy that was one of the best in his division, and this kind of layoff for a champion like that. I mean, I don't like it at all. I mean, even the Fundora fight, I didn't really like, and I felt he should have took a tune-up, but still, like, since this isn't happening now, and it's like, is he going to take an easier fight? Is he going to take a tough fight? It's a lot of questions, but like by the time he does get something lined up, it'll be like what, 2 years out of the ring, and that's just not good, man, for me. So I mean, we'll have to see what headlines come out, what announcements going to be made. But yeah, I'm mad that it's not happening now. I mean, I wanted to see him, like,
I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm happy because I thought this is a recipe for disaster. Coming back after that, like, please, man. Hopefully his will prevail and get him a tune-up fight to see where he is, and just get his feet wet before he fights somebody like a Fundora.
Yeah, I agree, but I just felt like if he stays, you know, if they go toe to toe and they trade, Spence would just get the best of him. But you know, like we seen Fundora clipped by Mendoza. Like we know that sometimes he likes to stay in the pocket. Sometimes he'll bounce from the outside, but a lot of times he likes to stay in the pocket. And I just believe, like, with Spence power, he'd just be going to that body and chopping him down. But that's not going to happen now. So
you would think somebody was when he was training over in Philadelphia, one of those fighters was there, and they were asking him, how does Spence look? And he was saying he works hard. He didn't say he looked good. He was saying, yeah, he works hard. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what Spence we're gonna get. Is he gonna be the one who smoked that joint before he fought Crawford? You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. But let's go ahead and switch gears to the other side of it. What do you think about if they replace Spence with Borchuk, with Serhii Borchuk? Who would you favor between Borchuk and Fundora? Because they were supposed to fight before, but then Tim Tszyu needed an opponent after Keith Thurman got injured. So then Fundora ended up fighting Tszyu, and then Borchuk fought whoever it is that he fought. If Sergey Borchuk is Sebastian Fundora's opponent in March, who would you favor and why?
I think it's a very, very violent fight. I think Borchuk has probably raised his confidence a little bit by standing there with which I feel is a harder puncher in Virgil Ortiz. So it'll be an interesting fight. And I don't think Fundora is going to wipe him out the same way. And Fundora is going to have to dig down. But I'll favor Fundora in the fight with Borchuk.
Why?
I feel like, for me, Fundora has many more ways he can win. I feel, plus also, I think that fight with Tim Tszyu, and then other fights with like Erickson Lubin. I feel like those are he has more experience and more of those types of fights than Boychuk, who just had that Virgil Ortiz fight. And we still to this day we don't know Virgil Ortiz's ceiling. We just know what he's marketed as. We know how good some of the guys that Fedor beat are. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ty? Who do you think will win between Boychuk and Sebastian Fedor?
That's a tricky one. I think I'll go with Boychuk. I was very impressed, in the Virgil Ortiz fight. I do think Virgil Ortiz edged it out, but man, Boychuk, man, he was a dog in that fight. He put down Virgil Ortiz a couple times. He never backed down. He kept bringing the fight, the entire 12 rounds that it went. So I think that power, he's definitely going to stay in front of Fedor. You know what I mean? And like I can see him like I was saying about Spence. I can see him going to that body, breaking him down, and eventually, cracking Fedor and dropping him. But I think Boychuk would definitely stay in front of him. So I'll go with Boychuk. But like if Fedor comes in there, fighting on the back foot using his reach, then I'll see Fedor.
Yeah, Fedor?
Yeah, I see if Fedor, if he decides to fight on the back foot, I mean, he can even if he does fight on the back foot, he still gets clipped. But with a guy like Boychuk, he's going to be standing in front of him, throwing his power shot. So I just see Boychuk, cracking his ribs and eventually cracking him on the head and dropping him. So I'll go with Boychuk in this fight.
See, what Vail thinks, because he said that Fedor has like those huge lenses. He thinks that he has trouble from distances. That's the reason why he fights up close like that, which would make sense. Now, here's the thing. Like, to me, Boychuk, if he was – see, I don't know how much that Ortiz fight took out of him, too, because in this last fight against this guy that you see right there, it was two occasions that I thought, unless he was just off balance a little bit, I thought the dude kind of stunned him a little bit. Not hurt him, but just kind of stunned him slightly. To me, that's remnants of, after effects of a tough fight that you had where you get fighting in a brutal match against a tough opponent like a Virgil Ortiz. So even though that fight was close, some people think Boychuk may have won, it may have had more of an ill impact on him than it did Virgil Ortiz, or it may have an ill impact on both guys. We don't know. We'll see what happens with the Mondrian fight with Ortiz, which is going to be interesting. But that's a good fight right there. If Boychuk is Boychuk, I think that he will be able to defeat him. He just hits so hard. He's a tough hombre, but 154 pounds has some really solid guys. It might be the best weight division in the sport of boxing. Now, I'm a lot of times I don't do this, but I think that it's clobbering time. He has a good matchup that he thinks possibly should take place, and that's Jermell Charlo versus Fedor. Who would you favor in that matchup at this particular point? Mel being off a long layoff. But if Mel is who he was, and then also coming back down for 168 pounds after fighting Canelo, who would you favor in that matchup? I just don't want Mel to come back and face no dang on Crawford.
Even in that fight like that, I don't think it'll be a good fight for Mel. Even though I'll probably still favor him based off of his pedigree and his experience and how he does under big lights. I would prefer him to do that anyway, to come down to go back down to 154 after a layoff, coming off a loss to Canelo and fighting a Fedor. Wouldn't want that for him.
So you favor Fedor?
I said I favor Mel. I just said I just don't like the fight for Mel.
If you don't get his title back, then what do? That's good though. You understand what I'm saying? What about you, Legend?
Yeah, I gotta go with Mel, man. Mel's one of my
favorite fighters. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, like the inactivity, not fighting once last year, coming back down in weight. How's he gonna, be now? Some fighters are not the same when they move back down in weight. You know what I mean? So
and he's muscular too. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's a muscular guy who's going to be losing some of that muscle as he comes back down.
Yeah, but we know what Mel can do, in his normal weight class. He was undisputed. He stopped all the champions that he fought, got all those belts. So and Mel's a dog, man. He doesn't back down. He takes it. Yes, he did in the Canelo fight, but that wasn't his weight. But this is his weight. This is his home. This is his home weight. So this is where he does his thing at. So I can see him, getting in there, taking it to the front door, staying busy, and, you know, just cracking him until that knockout comes. So I got to go with Mel.
See, here's the thing, though, right? Mel, I like Mel too. I'm not trying to knock him. I'm not trying to, but I got to be objective here. Mel, when he was fighting at 154, he, fortunately for himself, kind of bypassed a lot of killers, because when he was the champ, you didn't have the Madrimals, the Murtazalievs, you know, Fundora was on his way up, the Virgil Ortiz, the Borachuks. Like, he's sitting up there messing around with dudes like, let's go to Mel, because Stein, I don't even see him around it, but Stein was a tough hombre. But then he was facing like the Rosarios and the Tony Harrisons and dudes who were good, but they had like some huge flaws to them as well. The Jorge Cottos, the Austin Trouts, long in the tooth at the time, the Erickson Lubin, who wasn't really prepared and ready yet, the Charles Hatley, who I saw in Dallas get dropped by Manuel Augustus, you know, dudes like that. Not what I just showed you as far as Crawford's, Madrimal, Marchazali, Ortiz. You didn't have that. And then even Tim Tszyu, like, we never got the Tim Tszyu fight. I don't like him coming off a long layoff like that. And then I don't like him coming back down in weight like that. And then I don't like him facing somebody with the attributes of Fundora, you know, in his first fight back after a long layoff. So I would have to, and Fundora is catching a lot of these dudes like that. You know what I'm saying? Like long layoffs or a switch up, you know. So he's benefiting from that. In the chat, let me see. He says, my boy Clyburn Tom says Fundora needs to steer clear of Borachuck. Okay, so he thinks that Borachuck could put him to sleep. He could fight the Borachuck, Kryptonite, and my dude, Brandon Adams. Okay, yeah, Brandon Adams caught him slipping. In Mel's defense, he cleared the entire division. He was a bad man. And that's what Ty tends to lean with as far as Jamel Charlo.
He did. But so much time has passed that it's a new division now. It's not even the same division anymore.
Right. He got out just in the nick of time. You know what I'm saying? You know, let's go ahead and move forward, you know, because we got Zepeda. He's going to return in Cancun. I mean, if you have some vacation time, that's a perfect place to go to see you a nice fight and then just have a good time out in Cancun. But they said he's facing somebody. He's not going to face Tevin Farmer. He's going to face somebody else. So I just want to point that out. I'm going to move forward because we don't know who the opponent is. Also, what do you fellas think about this matchup of Deontay Wilder versus Curtis Harper on BOK Prime, April 26th? Do you think that's a better matchup than the Stephen Shaw fight, Bill?
I think it's better. It's good for Deontay Wilder to get some confidence, knock somebody out, make some money. You know, say he might not get hurt. He's not likely to get hurt. If Curtis Harper is able to even hurt Deontay Wilder should just hang it up and just immediately just walk away. So,
you think so?
If Curtis Harper is able to hurt him or put him out or anything like that, yeah. But Wilder should be able to walk through Harper, you know, no problem, knock him out, get a good knockout, get some money in his pocket, and get some confidence and be happy. If you want to walk away after this, you can with happiness.
Man, we already know Wilder's not walking away after this. They're gonna set up some other stuff. I'm gonna show you some stuff afterwards that they're talking about. But what about you, Ty? Because we kind of talked in the chat, and you mentioned that you like this better for Wilder than Stephen Shaw, and why?
Yeah, I think Stephen Shaw was definitely more of a threat. This is, to me, is a way easier fight than, you know, Stephen Shaw.
You don't see that on the screen right there. You don't see that. Look, woo! He got some paws on him, boy.
Well, that's not happening. He's not going to do that to Wilder. Look at that dude's rose.
I don't know, man. But Tyler, talk to me, man. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely a fight for Wilder to get his confidence back. You know, the two losses that he suffered, the knockout loss to Zhalizhan. Yeah, so I think this was a good business decision. I think he should get the win. I even said knockout. I think he gets the stoppage. Curtis Harper's last fight. I think he won his last one. He's lost like 3 or 4 in a row or something like that. So
no, he's won like 4 in a row. Like he's on a winning streak. Yeah, Curtis Harper been fighting, man. Don't sleep on him now.
He's won his last 4. Oh, okay, shoot, I'm wrong then. Okay, my bad. So that changes everything.
You see them?
Oh man, I'm slacking. Oh man. Well,
that dude is not beating Wilder.
Well, in Wilder's defense, the dudes he's fighting was 3-8, 5-18, 5-19, and 3-42. Now, I mean, he ain't really fighting the best opposition, but at the same time, you know, he doing his thing.
Okay, that's interesting. I still say Wilder though. I still say Wilder. I mean,
no, Wilder should knock this dude out. You know, but the thing is that Harper is aggressive. He's gonna be throwing winging some shots and stuff like that at him. Where Shaw is gonna be more calculated. He's more of a boxer. He's not as dangerous as far as power is concerned. And so to me, with Wilder, that's the biggest thing. I'm not really overly concerned with somebody. I think his chin is kind of brittle right now. You know, like once he gets touched, because even Jelly, I know Jelly got some heavy hands, but that one shot that he caught him with, it didn't even seem like Jelly put a lot behind it. And then it had him in all types of trouble. So that's what my biggest concern with Wilder is him trying to set up his shot, but then he just get clipped a little bit by this dude. You know, I hope that's not the case, but I'm listening all the time.
Yeah, well, I'll just say, even if Wilder does get past Curtis Harper, I still don't see much in the future for him. I mean, he's 40, pushing 40 or 40. He's done his thing. His time is really up. But I mean, I could see him not wanting his career on a loss like that. So he wants to get another win under his belt. But if he does get past Curtis Harper, I mean, I don't see much for him. I mean, maybe he'll try to push for the Joshua fight and then ride off into the sunset. I don't know. But
I'm gonna show you what's next. This is what Turkey Alex Sheik still wants. Joshua versus Wilder targeted. So I
still want that too. Yeah, I still want that fight. And even though they both suffered 4 losses or so, they both been stopped a few times now. I still want to see that fight. And then like after, if we do get that, then you know he could definitely ride off into the sunset, win, lose, or draw, because that's a money fight. But still, I mean, Wilder's done his thing. He don't have nothing else to prove. It's the end of his career, in my opinion. So, I mean, get past Curtis Harper, get one more big fight, win, lose, or draw, ride off into the sunset, man. I don't want to see him keep fighting and keep getting stopped, keep taking losses. I mean, he's done his thing. So
then let me ask you this, though. So then if he's able to get past this gentleman and then Turkey gets what he wants, Joshua versus Wilder, who do you favor in the Joshua Wilder fight?
Somebody's getting knocked out.
Yeah,
it is a knockout.
I don't know, man. At this point, I would just say Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, yes, he lost to Dubois, but you know he was starting getting that momentum back in that round that he got knocked out in. I mean, he got clipped, but he was starting to come back. So I don't know, man. I don't see Wilder having that killer instinct. He didn't get no knockouts in the Parker fight. He didn't get no knockouts in the Zalizan fight. So I can't say his power's there no more. Yes, he knocked out Robert Helenius in the first round, but I don't know. I don't see that same Wilder. I still think so I would go with Anthony Joshua, man. I think Anthony Joshua would be more ready. He's been on the bigger stages. He's fought in the UK, 50,000 fans. You know, Wilder hasn't really been on that platform. Yes, he's fought in those big arenas, but I think Joshua's been on this stage more. But I really think it all depends on who lands the big one first. But I think at this point in their careers, I think Joshua will land the big one first.
What about you, Bill?
I think it's 50-50. I still think somebody's getting knocked out.
Well, I think somebody get knocked out. That's
go either way. I can see just like what Ty was saying about AJ. I can see AJ landing first. I can see Anthony Joshua having more ways to his madness and more ways to get it done still. But also, I have to ask myself, how long do I see Anthony Joshua lasting before Wilder, catches him? And I think this is a fight that Wilder's going to be up for too. It's almost a grudge match. So, I mean, it only take one shot from Wilder, and even when you look at somebody like Jelly Jong and even Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua probably has the weakest chin out of all of them when you compare it to them. So him and Wilder are both fragile. So I'm gonna go with Wilder on this one.
Yeah, he's just been looking like it's like he's regressing, and that's my problem. The Wilder who fought the last Fury fight, or the Wilder who fought the first Fury fight, I would favor him against AJ because he had that umph. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when he was a few times that he clipped Jelly John, I didn't necessarily even see. I know that shot is still there, and AJ has a shaky chin, but I didn't see. It seemed like it was something missing off of that shot, and I'm sure it's still there, but his balance is so bad, legs are so little, and his skill level, like I say, it'll be very difficult to set that shot up. And he was starting to, get it going against Jelly to a certain degree, but then Jelly just set him up, for that left that got him in all type of trouble. AJ, the problem with AJ against Wilder, see, I always thought, like, when they were on a collision course to face each other, I never knew why AJ was so scared of Wilder. Like, I didn't get it, because I'm looking at you and your skills, and I think that you are somebody who your punches are shorter and to the point. And I thought that you had a very good shot of beating Deontay Wilder, but it just seemed like Wilder was the alpha in comparison to AJ, and he just was kind of like wilt when it came to discussions about Deontay Wilder. So I thought that psychologically he would be impaired in a fight against somebody that he's scared of. He still probably feels that way, but like I say, Wilder it seems like his skills have diminished, and I hate that for the champ because he's one of my favorites. At this particular point, I would favor AJ still, because I think once he gets inside the ring with him, he's gonna he will have to overcome his fears. If he decides to go ahead and get in the ring with him, then it's like, I gotta, self-preservation. I gotta do what it is I gotta do to survive. And then based on what he still has left, I just think it's a little bit more than what Deontay Wilder still has left. And once he go ahead and put one on the kisser, then it's gonna be like a Nagano. Like, he's gonna go right down the middle, catch the champ, and it's gonna be all bad. But hopefully it's a quick, painless, victory for the champ, and he's able to reap the rewards as far as being compensated handsomely by Turki Al-Sheikh. But we shall see, man. But what could happen is, in this fight that he's going to have against Curtis Harper, he can build some confidence that might, be beneficial to him if he's going to take on AJ next. All right. Hearn also reveals Joshua's next options are Wilder, Dylan White, and Bacoli. The only thing I'm gonna ask you, fellas, you talked about Wilder. Who would you favor in a Joshua White fight and a Joshua Bacoli fight? So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Vale, and then we can get your thoughts, Ty. Also, before you say that, let me go ahead and it's Carbonton says I like Wilder. AJ would hurt him, in my opinion. You may be absolutely right. He also says go enjoy his daughter and talk this ish from the booth, so go ahead, get up in there. He says the ducking and boxing has gotten out of line. Even Fury retired because he didn't want to face these up and coming heavyweights, particularly Bacoli. Yeah, I think he served his time though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Bacoli is going to be the next class that's up, and they're going to have to sort things out. Adam Hurley also says, I got AJ, but I'd love to see Wilder win. Yes, indeed. Lou DeBella got Wilder 100 meter offer or million offer to fight AJ. Don't sound like fear to me. Just saying. You gotta show me some evidence. I don't know about all that. But I'm gonna put this link in the chat for you fellas, man, because I like the conversation. You can go ahead and just say what it is you need to say. But anyway, who do you think? Who'd you favor, Vale? White, Bacoli versus AJ?
White should even be in the ring with AJ at this point, and White gonna get hurt, and with AJ and Bacoli, I think Bacoli AJ shouldn't even be in the ring with Bacoli at this point either. I think it's just a stepping stone for Bacoli. Bacoli will win. You can't even really call it a passing the torch fight because AJ already gave the torch to Daniel Dubois, and that's who Bacoli should be aiming for. But while AJ is a good name for Bacoli, and that's why Bacoli should take that fight, but Bacoli will win that.
Yeah, for me, if Joshua does fight White next, I would definitely have Anthony Joshua. He's already beat White. He's already stopped him. But Bacoli, I might have to go with Bacoli in that fight. Bacoli's only been stopped once, and that was years ago against Michael Hunter. But AJ, to me, at this point, is more damaged goods. You know, I mean, he was dropped in his last fight. He was dropped against Ruiz. He's taken more damage over his career, and like Bacoli, we seen with him. I'm not comparing AJ to Anderson, but we know Anderson had defense issues, but he still tried to do his thing with his defense. And Bacoli, this man just stood right in front of him. I can see him doing that with AJ. AJ is a big guy, but I can see Bacoli showing up and just standing in front of him, throwing big shots, and AJ doesn't have the best chin, so. I give it to Bacoli by a mid to late stoppage.
What about Dylan White? Dylan White got a chance at this stage of Joshua's career? Y'all acting like Joshua done fell off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Man, I don't know, man. I just think that Dylan White, if I'm not mistaken, he just recently fought, and I know he won and everything, but they already fought, and Joshua stopped him. And I remember the fight that White had against was it Jermaine Franklin? He looked very impressive in that fight, but that was like what, a year or two ago now. So
you thought he looked impressive against Jermaine Franklin?
Yeah, Dylan White, he beat Jermaine Franklin.
Oh, Dylan White. Okay. Yeah.
He looked impressive against Jermaine Franklin. So I like what I seen in that fight, but. I mean, like these guys, they've been in the ring with each other, so I'll just go with Anthony Joshua versus White. But Bacoli, nah, that's a different story.
Okay. You got Adam Hurley. He says Bacoli, the most dangerous heavyweight out there, big boy, fast hands, and big pop in his punches. Yeah, he can go a little bit. For me, I favor AJ over White. I think that's something that he should entertain, kind of like I said last week with Holyfield when he fought Alex Stewart for the second time. He just wanted to make sure. He said, if I'm gonna move forward, I got to be able to beat this dude. You know what I'm saying? And so, if AJ, decides to take the same approach and fight White, can get him a nice little victory in, build his confidence back up for a last run. You know what I'm saying? And let the chips fall where they may. I just like AJ's mentality now. It seems like he's more, willing to face stiffer opposition now. Like, he doesn't really care who he's going to fight. I think that when Coach Eddie talked about earlier getting knocked down and it kind of like relieves you of something, I think now it relieved him after these losses that I don't have to, go through with this facade of being this person that you want me to be. I'm a fighter, and I want to get in there and fight the best to see, what I'm made of. You know what I'm saying? If somebody can beat me, they just beat me. You know what I'm saying? So I respect that about AJ at this particular point of his career. Last but not least, you got this is Vale's favorite fighter right now. It's like I think he's number one pound for pound in Vale's.
Man, no, he putting it. Right. I did say that. I said, yeah, he was number one on my pound for pound list. Gervonta Tank Davis.
Yeah, Vale is a content creator. So now, with that being said, you've had a trend of events. So this past week, Turkey Al-Sheikh had an event where he had most of the prominent fighters in the sport of boxing. They were at this gala. He introduced certain fights that he wanted to see take place, gave out awards. One notable name that wasn't invited was Tank Davis, but Tank Davis, talks very low of the Saudi Arabian sheik. And he was saying that the guys who went to the event, they were all D riders. Now, our main man Terrence Bud Crawford took offense to that, and he says things back in return to Tank, and they kind of got into an exchange. At first, it was about Tank's acting like he was a baller, having a certain amount of money. So then Crawford replied initially by saying, "I guarantee you don't have as much money to me. You don't have as many as investments. I don't owe taxes because there's rumors that Tank is $3 million in the hole." So he referenced that. Tank comes back and talks about Terrence Bud Crawford's wife, calling her 380 pounds and so on and so forth. Again, I thought that children, wives, and things like that were off limits, when it came to verbal banter. That's just how I was raised, and that's just based on the cloth that I'm cut from. I just thought that was what men do. You leave those things alone. Even if the most grotesque individuals who engage in all type of activities that are possibly unlawful, they even have a code where it's like, okay, we're not messing with any babies. We don't do this at these particular events. But Tank decided to go low and talk about the man's wife. And so Terrence Crawford responds. He said, "I guarantee you that if we were ever to knuckle down, it don't even have to be in a boxing ring." He said, "Brother, I'll break your neck." Hopefully these guys can get the situation resolved, because I know at some point they'll probably possibly cross paths. But what did you think about the trend of events that took place last week? Mainly Tank states.
I thought I just went too far, and Tank is just man, that's just
he's spiraling.
Yeah, it's a bad look. I mean, it's one, and it's funny because he started off with, hey, y'all riding for Turkey. Okay, whatever. Guys talk trash, but when it starts, I don't like the whole "I made more money than you." I thought that's silly, even though boxers do that all the time. But to say, "Hey, that's why you got 8 kids by this fat woman who's 380," that's just deplorable, man. You don't say things like that. You know what I'm saying? And you talk about somebody that got a good woman that's stuck by his side. You know what I'm saying? He has a representation of what you would want in a black family. Somebody like Tank should be looking at that. And this is a man just not too long ago who said he wanted to be a better man for his daughters. He said this. You know what I'm saying? He said this. Mm-hmm. So you want to be a better man, a better role model to your daughters, but you going in talking about a woman that has nothing to do with what your beef. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I felt like that's just low. That shows somebody that's talking out both sides of the mouth. They say one thing, but they doing another. You know what I'm saying? It's just low, and it's
he's in a sunken place. You know what I mean? He's in a sunken place. Then also, he has no class. You know what I mean? Like, it just shows a lot.
No class, no moral ethic, code, nothing like that.
No, man, I just like to say, man, these cats grew up watching these Blues Clues and Clifford the Big Red Dog. That's what you get. And then that type of mentality gets up in the chat sometime too. I saw that a little bit earlier. But what about you, Ty? What do you think, man? As far as this Tank Davis fiasco?
Yeah,
I know that's your Merlin brethren. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not riding with Tank on this one, man. I didn't like it at all. He tried to say he makes more money, and Crawford said, he's got the better investments and all that. So, but yeah, I agree with Val with Tank saying about his family and all that. That was out of line. You know what I mean? But let's talk about accomplishments. We know Crawford's accomplished way more. He's undisputed at 147. He's moved up and just beat a guy at 154. Now he's getting ready to fight Canelo. Tank hasn't accomplished nothing close to that. So I think Tank should focus on more of his accomplishment. But we already heard him say he don't care about the legacy or belts and all that. But yeah, I didn't like it, man. Well, Crawford's more mature. You can say what Tank was saying is definitely immature. We seen Tank out in public grabbing a woman and pulling her out of the arena or wherever they was at, basketball game. So yeah, so Tank can't speak on this man's family when he had a bad image himself, as far as women. So, but yeah, I didn't like it on Tank's part. Just because you weren't invited there don't mean you gotta, take it out on Crawford and all that. But yeah, I didn't like it, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said, hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and these guys will get a chance to chop it up. Because I'm telling you, Bud is not somebody to play with when it comes to crossing the line. Like he don't have no chill when it comes to that. And I can see him trying to get at him just the way he was trying to get at Tio. You know, um, and things could go all bad. And I think that on Tank's side too, like Tank got some people that's gonna ride with him, and this is it'll be all over nothing. You know what I mean? Like it'd be some ignorant stuff that these dudes are getting into it about when it didn't even have to be like that. You know. Last but not least, man. I think we got one last little thing. Let me go to my next slide. It's time to wrap this bad boy up. Schofield, his fight that's coming up with Stevenson. He was unable to make it to the press conference. Let me ask you this question. I may have asked you this previously, but I don't recall your responses. Him taking on Shakur Stevenson, do you like this idea for Kid Austin or is this too soon to be taking on the likes of Shakur Stevenson?
I think we might have talked about this, but I'm not gonna say it's too soon because he's a champion, but I don't think he's ready, but he's about as ready as he's gonna. I mean, at his best, I don't think he could beat Shakur Stevenson anyway. So he's basically just rolling the dice. But for him to say he's no threat, that's even worse because it's one thing to be confident, but it's another thing to go in there. If you really believe that Shakur Stevenson is no threat to you, you better show me something special in that fight. Because if not, you just going in there. It's almost like you going in there blindfolded with a blindfolded mentality. So it just gives me more. It gives me more confidence that Shakur is probably gonna beat this kid.
Yeah, you gotta like his confidence, his self belief. But what about you, Ty? You think this is too soon for him, or you think that shit, go for it? You know what I'm saying? Like it got the opportunity. Who are we to tell him that he's not ready for the likes of Shakur Stevenson?
Yeah, I don't think he has any chance against Shakur. I think Shakur is one of the best in the division, but that's what it's about. Taking on challenges, taking on opportunities, taking risks. The way he's been talking in the media, well, he don't be doing the talking. His dad be doing the talking, but like his dad said that he could take the likes of Tank. There were some words back and forth between him and Tank, or his dad and Tank. So he's done the talk now. Let's see him walk the walk. He's going to be on the big stage. He's going to be fighting one of the best fighters in the division. So let's see if he shows up and shows out. And like I think he's going to come up short, but let's see if he does anything impressive against Shakur. Let's see if he backs him up. Let's see if he can hurt him. So I don't think he's going to do any of those things, but he's got a shot. I hope he takes 100% advantage of it. But one thing I will say, man, he got to get his dad out of his corner, man. His dad is doing all the talking. Let your son be a man and talk for himself. Like he got his dad doing all these interviews, talking on his behalf. So that's one thing I don't like about it.
Yeah, the thing about that, it's a gift and a curse. I think with the dad-son combination, it's kind of like how Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is mild-mannered, so you won't get any, shock value out of him, but you will get some out of his father. And a lot of times people do that where they got like the yin and the yang. Like my son handled business, but I'm the one who's going to push the line, and I'm the one who's going to promote things. Teofimo's dad does a lot of talking, but Teo is more so the talker now as opposed to his dad. But you've had those type of combinations, and like I said, I just think that that's how they play it. Is let my dad do all the talking, let me get my dad promote me and get the fights that I'm looking for. Because it's not like when you listen to Kid Austin, he's a solid, good little kid. You know what I'm saying? And he means well. He seems like he does the right thing. He's like the Tim Duncan of boxing, as far as his mentality and mind state. But I think that I think I understand the thought process in taking on Shakur. If I'm going to take on one of the elite guys, and you have a lot of talent around the 135-pound weight class, especially it's top heavy. So if I'm going to go for the gusto, I want to go for somebody like a Shakur who obviously isn't the most powerful guy. So I'm not going to be physically just defeated. Like, I'm not going to come out of this just banged up like that. But I can be outclassed. And the fact that I'm being outclassed, I can learn something from being in the ring with somebody like that without taking severe punishment. I mess around and fight Tank. I might not be the same after that, after I get knocked out, you know, at this particular point in my career. And there's other guys that probably can get you out of there, but Shakur won't do that. But he can, like, win every round. But it's no knock against that because everybody's saying he's going to do that anyway. You know what I mean? So this is a good opportunity. It's a win-win. And if I do, and if I am able to be successful more so than what people expect, then my name is going to ring bells even more, and there's going to be more of a demand for me. So I don't see any, you know, situation here where he loses, even if he doesn't win a round, because of the fact that he can go back to the drawing board because he's so young, you know. So shout out to them for deciding to put the, you know, young fella inside the Lions Den against an upper echelon opponent. Anything else you guys have before we wrap this one up? Because that was the last topic as far as relations to boxing. Anything else? Just shout out to everybody who showed up.
No, sir. Shout out to, well, I see it's clobbering time. He says it's if Schofield KO Shakur, I think that would be a death blow for Shakur's career.
Oh yeah.
If Lamont Roach KO Tank, it'll be the end. I mean, anybody, but is it likely? No, it's not likely to happen. Okay. I don't think so.
Yeah, no doubt, no diggity. And then last but not least, man, I got two hip hop heads on here, man. I would be remiss not to ask one type of hip hop question when I got dudes on here who know they bars, they know they MCs. So I'm gonna take you to one last question. The last question: who's your top 5 MCs, man?
Top 5?
Your top 5. Well, just give me 5 people that you listen to. You like, man.
I say it depends on the day. So
yeah.
I'm always gonna go, you know, start with Rakim. You know what I'm saying? You gotta throw Tupac in there. You gotta throw in Redman, Scarface, and KRS. I'm gonna go with 6-1, put Nas on there, so I'm looking at it.
Talk to me, Legend. I don't think Legend he must have. Did Legend drop off?
You probably thinking, man. You just throwing these questions out here. That's not an easy question, man. Because I get
that you just he ain't gotta be top 5.
I can go 10 on top, man.
No, didn't do 10. Like what?
I didn't say Redman. I didn't say Kane. Redman, Kane. You got, you know, Thought up there. Big Pun, Biggie. You know. I'm
gonna take you through mine, man. And I got you, Clever Tom. I see the comment that you made, but as far as this question, like I said, I hate to have these knowledgeable hip hop heads on this podcast or on this particular platform and not ask them a hip hop question. Now, for me, I'm gonna take you through. So obviously, Ron and them, you know, those were my favorites for a period of time. Rakim and that crew comes through, and it changes the game because now they're more layered as far as the syllables. He can have a conversation with you, and he's doing it in such a cool, relaxed manner. And then also he's going to give you some of them knocking beats from Eric B. So you got that. So those are some that just grabs. And I just remember how life was when some of these groups came out. KRS with The Bridge Is Over. It's some songs from KRS that I like that a lot of people don't really associate with him, you know, like that. Like that first album that he had. Let me see, KRS. Let me give you a little stuff.
Criminal Minded.
Criminal Minded was my joint, man. I used to love Criminal Minded, but that was the last song on that first CD. Oh, Boogie Down Productions. I'm bugging. And so they had it on Smash, for a minute. Boogie Down Productions. All right, so on that CD, I used to like I Got a Dope Beat, like songs like that I really like, but now the colder songs were like Criminal Minded and The Bridge Is Over, obviously. And then you had when he came right back with My Philosophy. See, I like songs like You're Slipping. I remember me and my boy, we used to play 1-on-1. And then he'll be saying some of that little Jamaican stuff. He getting off a little bit, then he'll be saying some of that little Jamaican stuff that KRS One brought to the table. So then moving forward, I used to like dudes like I'm even, moving dudes like Quick in there, NWA. Like they had, I used to listen to them, religiously. Ice Cube, Once Upon a Time in the Projects, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like that album all the way, like the Death Certificate, he was the man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I messed with Killer Cam and the Dipset, Jadakiss, Nas. I never, like, to me, Tupac lyrically wasn't the best, but he was the first one to infuse that feeling. Like you felt what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like if you put Tupac lyrics on paper, it's like a fourth grader. Like if you just look at the words, but the way he emphasized stuff and the way he can tell you a story, the way you can hit your heart, like that was a lot different than a lot of other guys. But those are the people that I gravitated to, man. But I'm gonna turn it over to you, Ty. What about you, man? Who are some of your faves? I think Legend might have dropped off here, man.
He dropped off.
Okay, well, it's all good, man. Val, let's go ahead and close this one out, man. Like I said, I always try to have a little hip hop question for the hip hop.
Yeah.
But before we do, what is my man Clobber? He's saying, let me see. All right, so he says Tank got what Shakur don't, a style that people are drawn to. Tank loses probably will humble him and help him. Yeah, I think so. And then Ty Salute, he said, my bad connection. He said Biggie, Jada, Lil Wayne. Oh, I forgot Lil Wayne. Lil like Mixtape Weezy. Yeah, Mixtape Weezy is up there. It's far underrated. Pap, Cannabis, Chic, and Big L. Okay, that's real spill. Anything else, Val, before we wrap this one up, man?
All right, no sir, man. Shout out to Ty. Shout out to those that were, came in online. We had little rough ones on there. We made it through, man. Shout out to It's Clobber Time, Shane, Solis. We all good.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to Lamar. Shout out to the snowstorm. Hopefully, we'll be off on Tuesday.
It's now. It wasn't before.
It wasn't now, but go ahead. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
On that note, man, we out. Y'all be peaceful out there. Be safe.
All right, peace.
Yeah.